Give items, blocks. Give money. I was on the RP server of Terra. I was on Celestial Hills. Because I, like a fool, didn't realize that once the game went free to play, the roleplay server would no longer be a roleplay server, it would be the Brazilian server. So, joke's on me, learned that lesson the hard way. Chat, Terra, the Brazilian players who wanted to play Terra, when the game became free to play, they were organizing in their fucking TeamSpeak servers and shit, alright? They were preparing. They were like, Terra's going free to play. We can finally play the game. Yay. We're all gonna go on Mount Tyrannus and kick everyone's ass. Oh, sorry, you were using MSN Messenger. Sorry. Okay, so the Brazilians on MSN Messenger or wherever the fuck were like, we're all gonna go to Mount Tyrannus and we're gonna go PvP. We're gonna be PvP gods. So the floodgates open. Terra goes free to play. The Brazilians log in. They can't read English. They click Celestial Hills because it's the first one in the fucking list. The server becomes flooded within a week of everybody typing Aljum BR. Hundreds of guilds pop up with just the Brazilian flag and the fucking Bleach logo as their goddamn icons. You do any dungeon and at the beginning of it, so you would go into like the local chat or the area chat around the dungeon and you would type looking for group 3 out of 5. Tank healer, right? Because you're looking for like a tank or a healer. Some motherfucker joins in. It's a warrior. His name is some shit with a period in the middle because every Brazilian likes to have a first and last name in Terra. And they're always like a warrior or a slayer. And you're like, oh, we actually already have all of the DPSs we need. And so one of like the nicer, and you don't see anything in chat yet, but one of like the nicer players is like, oh, well, I was gonna do a run with my friend anyways, or my guildmates just logged in, so I'll ask them. So somebody drops. And now you have this other person who's not saying anything. They're not saying anything. You get your healer and your tank. You enter the dungeon. The first thing that they type is BR question mark. Always. Always. I got so mad after a while that I would just instantly drop. I would enter the dungeon, somebody would type BR question mark, and I would face take a 30-minute cooldown because I did not want to play with the fucking Brazilians. I should clarify. Terra, back in the day, everybody either needed to know how to play the dungeon because they'd done it multiple times, or they needed to be able to speak the same language because somebody had to explain the mechanics. Because if nobody explained the mechanics, you would wipe. Within the first 2 bosses, you would wipe. Without fail. Because Terra used to have skill checks, basically. Terra, it used to be that you would have to, like, drag a boss into another room so that way you didn't get swarmed by ads, like in the Halloween area. I forget the name. Port Elenu. When you were in Port Elenu at the fucking Vampire Manor, and this 1 hour, 40-minute dungeon would have been for naught, right? Because that's like that's the last boss. So that's like a particularly bad one, right? But then there was another dungeon after that. It was like a castle with a sunset as the skybox. And it had like secret bosses. Necromancer's Tomb. Yeah. Necromancer's Tomb, I think. So like you would go do that dungeon, and there was like secret bosses that you could get the best loot from. And so back when you're playing early Terra, you needed this loot in order to not have to do the next dungeon that was right after it, which fucking sucked. The Brazilians did not understand this. They would drop immediately after the first, like after like the final real boss, they would just drop. So then you didn't have enough DPS to beat the final secret boss. Oh my god. Yeah, and they would always type that, and it was the most infuriating thing in the fucking world. You would get to the end of the dungeon, and you would roll for the loot, and this one fucker is just typing KKKKKK, and you're like, are you angry? Are you happy? Are you saying you're done with the dungeon? Why are you typing KKKKKKK? What do you mean by this? What does this fucking mean? But they type that and they just drop. Welcome to Die, thank you. Rainbow, thank you. Brazil numero penta campeão mundial. No habla. I remember I tried desperately at first to communicate with the Brazilians. I tried. I went to Google Translate, and you couldn't copy and paste the text. So I'd be like typing. I would turn Terra into windowed mode, and I'd pull Google Translate over onto the side, or I'd like pull out my laptop while I'm sitting at my PC. If I had a laptop at the time, there was a period of time where I did have both, but usually I only had like a laptop to play any MMO on, unfortunately. I was a certified trackpad gamer for quite a while. But, so I'd be like typing desperately in the Google Translate, trying my best to understand what the fuck this party member is saying. And it wouldn't even just be in dungeons. You'd be like, because back out in the day in Terra, you'd be out in the fields completing your main quests. You'd be completing your main story quest, and it would make you kill BAMs. It would make you kill like these big ass monsters, right? They're like bosses, but just out in the fields. So I'd be like, oh god, what were like the boss names? I can't remember. It's been so long now. Kuma's question mark, and I'd go into Google Translate and I'd type in "do you need," and I don't remember what the translation for it was, but I'd like then type into Terra the fucking Brazilian Portuguese translation for "do you need Kuma?" And they'd be like question mark, and I'd be like Kuma, and I'd be pinging the map, and they'd be like yes. And then they'd go over to a completely different field boss and start attacking it. And I'd drop party, and then they'd whisper me. They'd send me like a private message, and they'd be like, K. And I'm just like, what, dude? What? I thought we had come to an understanding. Apparently we didn't. So I left the party. Why are you private messaging me? K. Ah! Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. Wait. I did not experience that much. I would just see them like type it in the global chat sometimes. What I would usually see is some fucking Brazilian in my party type something mean as hell in English, followed by a singular period. They would type something like, "You are the most dog shit healer in the world. Disgusting American pig. Uninstall your life. Period. Period." And you're like, "Oh, now you can speak English. So now you can speak English. Okay. All right. I bet your ass is on Google Translate right now, typing all that shit. But when I'm typing one-word commands in a dungeon, you can't Google Translate just a fucking 5-letter word. You can't Google Translate when I say door." Oh my god. Oh my god. He just learned English to insult you. I remember this one comic came out. And it revolutionized my insults to Brazilians. And I would like to clarify, by the way, it's not a race thing, okay? Because Argentinians were fucking fine. Brazilians, though. This one comic came out where it was like talking about Brazilians in MMOs, and it was like the spawn of the Gib Gold, please. And so every time a Brazilian pissed me off, I'd be like, "Gib Gold, please, dot, wait, and I just spam the fucking chat. I got so mad. I got so fucking mad at them. Give items, blocks. Give money." Oh my god. Yeah. So, is this poor shaming? No, because the Argentinians were fine. Argentinians and MMOs. You get Argentinians and Brazilians. Those were like the two factions. I don't even know if any other country in South America exists, because it's just those two. So Argentinians come on and they just keep to themselves. You run a dungeon with an Argentinian, they're not even typing in the chat. They just do the dungeon, and they might suck at it, but at least they're not calling you racial slurs. God.